Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Sim Race South Africa. It's been a very, very short break, but we're back in SimGT for this flagship event here in the 2021.2 season, and that's Assetto Corsa Competizione. We're round one at the Nurburgring. I'm Daniel Haynes. I'm joined by Nick Hodgson in the commentary booth. Say hello to the lovely people, Nick.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Round one, all to play for once again. New start to the championship. Who is going to take an early lead and score themselves 100 points with a Division 1 win? We'll find out in 90 very, very short minutes. But really looking forward to this tonight.
Yeah, I think so. First round's always exciting. Everyone's anticipating what's happened in the off break. It's very short off break. We usually have a little bit longer. We've only had a few weeks to get settled in, but no doubt people have been practicing Nurburgring like you wouldn't believe. So let's take ourselves to the ring and we'll see how these guys are getting on. They've been 15 minutes already in qualifying, or just a little bit less, and we've got someone back. We've got Bashir Jadwat back at Sim Race South Africa. We've missed him. He missed last season. It's nice to have him back, and he's back where he belongs in pole positions currently. 153.478. Well done, Bash.
Yeah, that's not nailed on by any stretch of the imagination. With half qualifying still to go, this track is definitely evolving as we go through the session. Just 0.18 separating him and second place man Grobler. But let's see how we progress through the whole session. Going to be an interesting one. Nurburgring, tricky little track. Everybody kind of knows it, but there's all sorts of nuances to it. You know, the famous Schumacher S chicane is a popular one, and then of course the N chicane as you go just before the last corner onto the start-finish straight. So you got the track map up, Mercedes Arena. So that's corners 2, 3, 4. That is an exceptionally tricky section.
Yeah, you've got to be so patient through there, haven't you? You've got just like so careful on the throttle through 2, 3, and 4, and a short shift into 4. I find as well. Otherwise, the back end can quite easily get away from you. Is the secret in the Mercedes Arena. But yeah, very technical part of the track. But it's turn 1. We're all scared, and we're all worried about turn 1. Nurburgring turn 1. It's right up there with Monza for action, and yeah, I don't think we're going to avoid it tonight, but we'll see. We'll see. 40 cars on the grid, or just shy of. Bound to be some action in turn 1, I think. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, 100%. So, of course, remember, it'll be a rolling start in the GT series, so that gives them even more speed going into turn 1 on that one. So, yeah, watch out for there. So just have a little chat about the drivers themselves. We see Bashir Jadwat currently sitting in pole position, provisional pole. However, you will see a distinct lack of absence of the sim racing masterclass boys, who of course dominated the season last year, or last season I should say. And yeah, they are unfortunately both out sick as far as I understand, so they're taking a drop round already, which of course doesn't help their championship, but it does make things very, very interesting for us, and leaves the door somewhat open for people to take advantage tonight, Dan.
Yeah, for sure. There's points up for grabs that might potentially not have been there. Yeah, S is not well at all, from what I understand, so we wish him well. Hopefully he'll be back in round 2 with the masterclass team. But in the meantime, like you said, there's guys that want to capitalise on the fact that the masterclass boys won't be here. And you only get 1 drop round. And let's make ourselves just aware of a few changes for this season. 90-minute race, first of all, not 75. So we're back to 90 minutes. I think that's quite a favourable change. What else was there? We've got HLQ is changed. So these guys are in their divisions. We did have HLQ, and I'm going to bring up the HLQ times now. But this is the only time the entire season that I'll be bringing up a HLQ timesheet, because this was to factor in their division places, and then you've got the bottom 3 that will get demoted into Division 2 for round 2. So the last thing you want is to finish in the bottom 3. So we've got the top 20 from the HLQ. It was a very, as you would expect, extremely competitive HLQ, because it meant so much. People were desperate to get into Division 1, because then you're set there unless you finish in the bottom 3. So very, very important. We've got Essa in the lead. Bashir Jadwet, though, not far behind whatsoever, 153.06. Obviously, track conditions were ideal, although I'm just seeing Bashir Jadwet's done 153.03 again, so he would have actually topped this table tonight. Raymond Mooney in third place. Ross Bartle is a man to look out for, apparently, according to Nick Hodgson's been practicing significantly in ACC. We'll see how he's improved. Quade Clarson's a familiar name. Anyone else that jumps out for you there?
Having a look up and down, Kieran Patterson, we always see him there and about, so he'll definitely be up there. Mark van Rensburg, we've seen him in 12th position. We've seen him doing exceptionally well before. The McCalls, both Junior and Morgan, I would have expected them to be a little bit higher up, but we'll see how they do as the season progresses. And we had some Lawrence Sterner. In fact, remember last year he was the Aston man who was right up in the top 10 very frequently. So let's see how he does as well. And we've had a few team changes over the break. I know it's Chris Heineke and Marcus Steyn no longer part of PWSR. I think they've formed their own team, both doing pretty well, 6th and 7th there in HLQ. But yeah, so going into each round from now on, we won't have any HLQs. It'll just be promotion relegation, just as you see in the Premier League, for example, where the top three go down, and the top three from Division 2 come up, and the bottom three from Division 1 will go down. So
I'm looking forward to that. I think that's a good change because it spices things up for the race. Everyone goes into qualifying on race night not knowing where people stand time-wise, do they? There was always this with a HLQ sheet, and it's published every single night. You've got a target to hit, but you're sort of on your own, and you just got to turn up with your best hand, haven't you? And I think it just gives that little bit of unknown, a little bit less practice, if you like. Another name to just look out for in 11th position, JC Grobler. I'm going to come off of this sheet now. And I know this driver from another league, and he's very quick, and he's already second place here on the front row of the grid in round 1. So he'll be one to watch out for this season as well. But yeah, I think not spending a weekend trying to just get into Division 1 every week, but actually concentrate on your race could actually pay dividends for the race quality we'll see this season. We'll wait and see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think you got a good point there, Dan. JC Grobler, of course, in the Audi, a fairly unpopular car this season. In fact, just looking at the vehicles that everybody's chosen, the Bentley, what was the Bentley, the Ferrari, and the Mercedes, I think, or was it the Aston, were exceptionally popular. Let me just pull up those stats quickly. But additionally, the interesting thing with no HLQ is it doesn't give you a reference point, as you were saying. And so take, for example, the Legends series, which we have coming up next week. So I was practicing, because I'm not doing ACC, of course. I was practicing early in Legends, and I thought I'd got my time to a very competitive area. And I'd sort of shown my teammates saying, hang on, here, guys, I've done some laps. This is kind of what I think is a decent lap time. And one of my teammates turned around and said, no, Nick, you're actually quite far off the pace here. There's at least 8 tenths in there that you need to go and find. So those are the kind of...
And you did go and find it, I assume. But if you didn't know that they were there, you might have retired thinking, I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. It's like the old school days where we didn't know the times unless you camped out on the server and watched someone, and then you'd find out Monday morning with a bit of a shock. I really like that. I like that.
Yeah, so you've got to keep pushing, you've got to keep finding more time, and just assuming that guys are always a couple of tenths quicker than you, and you've got to find a little bit more. So let's just have a look. The most popular car this season so far is the Ferrari 488, with 23 people choosing that, followed closely by the Aston Martin, the AMR V8 Vantage at 21 people with that, and then the Bentley with 20 people in the Bentley, and finally the Lexus, 19 people in the Lexus. So 4 cars, call it even Stevens in terms of who selected what. So it should be a fairly varied grid, and the sprinkling of the odd Porsche you see there, Heineke and Steyn both making the Porsche work at this stage.
Yeah, it's no surprise. We got this. We've had this for years. Whatever car won the previous season is the most picked car the following season. It's been the case for as long as I can remember. So it's no surprise that Essa dominates in the Ferrari, and then everyone wants to drive a Ferrari. What's Essa in this year? He's not in the Ferrari, he's in the Porsche, isn't he?
He's in the Porsche, yeah.
There'll be a massive influx of Porsche drivers in 2022.1. That's maybe my prediction, but we'll wait and see. It obviously was incredibly popular a couple of seasons ago. I hear it's creeping back into the meta of the game, the Porsche. It's had a bit of a buff. So I hear it's a little bit better, but obviously you pick a car for a season that lasts 6 months. That's the risk you take with Kunos, with updates. Chances are your car is going to change at some point in that season anyway.
Yeah, 100%. But don't discount those Bentleys as well. And I think the Bentley's received a bit of a performance boost as well. And internationally, it's becoming quite a popular vehicle right now. Remember, we saw the Mercedes that was exceptionally popular a few months ago, and now virtually hardly anyone's using the Merc.
I've done quite a bit of ACC driving, I have to say. I did a bit of practice. I'm forced to get more familiar with the game, and my favourite was the Bentley. I just really enjoyed it. I really got on with it well. I found it the nicest to drive, very pliable. The steering wheel's on the right side of the car. Everything was good about it. If I had to pick, and I was in this season, I'd be in the Bentley for sure.
Yeah, me.
Plus,
me
it's
as well.
British.
I mean, is it? But yeah.
We'll take it. We don't make anything anymore in the UK, so we've only got history to go by. So it's British.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Let's for this the sake of this stream pretend it's British. But no, I would also be in the Bentley. It's really planted. It's great over the curbs. It's solid at most tracks. It's one of those cars that is, it's never going to be the quickest car at a particular track, but it's always going to be right up there. As I say, good over the curbs, so easy to handle in the wet. The Aston's probably a bit better in the wet, but still, it's kind of...
In a 90-minute race as well, I felt like you could drive that easily, and it's not going to surprise you at any point. And there was a few cars that, obviously the mid-engine cars, they have a tendency to surprise you just out of the blue sometimes. But the Bentley was something you can just get into a rhythm and relax with.
So obviously, being part of Point Blank Sim Racing, I've got an insight into what my teammates are doing, and 2 of them using the Bentley at the moment. And they were saying it's quite sensitive on the tire pressures, though. So they've had to take that into account in the upcoming race. Of course, we're starting at 10 a.m. for the upcoming race, and we're going to see the track evolution in terms of temperatures vary a huge amount for the race at the beginning half of the race. So certainly they have been discussing, I'm not sure if they're going to go with it or not, but doing a shorter stint. So most of these drivers are going to do you'll have to do one pit stop during the 90 minutes, but traditionally everybody stops halfway through the race, right? So now there has been discussions and thoughts about, do we stop a little bit earlier, so we're not having to compromise so much on the tire pressures, which, as we know in ACC, is really sensitive. You've got to be very careful with those. Yeah,
definitely. Chris Heineke's just popped up into second spot, but the gap's massive. Bashir Jadwar over half second, but Chris Heineke's just put in a flyer in his Porsche, go up into second. JC Grobler is still there in third position, wondering whether we're going to get a bit of track progression right at the end of this race, qualifying session, but haven't seen too many plop really good timing, apart from Heineke, who's up again, actually. He's just over a tenth. He was 2 tenths up on this lap as well. So he's certainly got that Porsche hooked up. Quade Claessens is a tenth up as well. We'll just see where he's coming through. Still got a ways to go, hasn't he, Quade? So there's plenty there. Heineke is 2 tenths up now on this lap as well. I mean, it's not going to be enough because the gap's significant to Jadwat, but he'll at least cement his front row of the grid if he can complete this lap. 3 tenths now is Chris Heineke.
That's incredible. I mean,
4 tenths.
Goodness, is he going to challenge for it? Has the track suddenly changed?
That's what I'm wondering. He's just put a flyer in and he jumped right up into second spot, and he's 4 tenths up on this lap as well. If he can get it to 5, it could be close, but I don't think so.
We'll have to see. He's coming...
He's got a fair bit of the lap to go yet, has Chris Heineke.
There's certainly time to be made through these couple of corners.
He's lost 2 tenths now, unfortunately. 2 tenths on his delta. So it's worth completing, because if track progression is there, he doesn't want other people coming in behind him. Grobler's in the pit, so I don't think He's going to be improving in this session. Happy with his time. Jadwat can sit in the pits, though. He's safe, isn't he? Let's be honest. Heineke's 3/10 up here, so he's going to definitely improve on his time.
If he hadn't lost those 2/10, Jadwat would have been under huge pressure.
His theoretical, I'm telling you, Heineke's theoretical will be giving Jadwat a run for his money. But there we go. He's 4/10 back. He did improve, but not as much as he could have done. But he does cement his front row of the grid with only 2 minutes to go. Who else have we got?
What's Grobler looking like in fourth?
Grobler is on an outlap at the moment. We've got Christian Deploy is on a flyer, but he's only level on his delta.
Bartle? What's Bartle doing in fifth?
Bartle is way off at the moment, so whether he is going in for a one, he's preparing. He's on his outlap preparing for his last flyers. We'll keep him clear on. Marcus Stain is 2/10 up currently as he crosses the line, and I don't know whether he improved in 7th place though. 8/10 off our pole position time, which was significantly. I mean, it really is quick from Bashir Jadwat, showing how it's done. Like I said, that time from Bashir Jadwat would have topped the HLQ timetables. So
a proper effort from him. But as you say, Heineke could have done it. He really could have done it.
So, who have we got on flyers? We're still with Marcus Stain. He's in the early part. He's just gone through the arena section and found 2/10 through the arena section. So he's up. We've got Ross Bartle now, who is also coming out of the arena section. He's 1/10 up on his time. But we see 1/10. See, when we're in this little period, a couple of tenths can actually get him on the front row of the grid here. So it's a significant reward if you can just hook it up. Stain is still a 10th up.
And most people are in the pits right now, so actually you're likely to have a really free track at the moment. I'm looking, Bartle's got plenty of free air in front of him.
Unfortunately, he's lost time though, has Ross Bartle, as is Stain, who has aborted this lap. So Bartle is level on his delta. He needs to try and have a good finish. Christian Deploy is a 10th up.
Kieran Patterson in 10th place at the moment. How's he looking?
He's 2/10 down. So, Kieran Patterson at the moment is not improving. Christian Deploy is the one that's 2/10 up. It's the only one that's green on his delta at the moment at the end of this session. Last-ditch effort to gain a spot or two. JC Grobler has all of a sudden gained 2/10 as well. Not sure whether he's going to have enough time to actually complete his lap, though, is it?
Hall comes across.
Probably will.
19th currently, where's he going to end up? Stays 19th.
Yeah, Deploy's lost his time. Grobler's lost his as well. Everybody is down on their delta. These are the only two drivers, I think, is JC Grobler and Christian Deploy on whether they can improve on their positions right now. Really will be its last possible opportunity, Grobler. This is the final lap after the clock is counted down, and it's going to be almost counted down again by the time he crosses the finish line. But
I have to hope he can make that max wait time. Assume he will do.
Yeah, I think he will do. He's literally level on his delta right now, so it's not a big improvement. But what does he need? He needs only less than a tenth to get Claessens in 3rd place. No, he's bailed out. He's bailed out. So I think this might be the end of the session. Christian Deploy is coming through the final corner, absolutely level on his delta as well.
Yeah, and 26th as well, Ruben Kruger. He's going to be the last man across the line, I think.
So I think that finishes our qualifying session. So, who have we got? Bashir Jadwat first, Chris Heineke second, Quade Claessens 3rd position, Grobler 4th, Ross Bartle 5th, Christian Deploy 6th, Marcus Stain 7th, Brett Krugkamp 8th, Juna McCall 9th, and Kieran Patterson rounds out the top 10. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for the start of this race. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, on the starting grid for round 1 here at Sim Race South Africa GT Championship. Very exciting. What's going to happen? 90 minutes, we'll find out who's going to win round 1 of this season and kick off the season with 100 points. That's what everyone wants, especially when we've got a few top drivers out missing. I think it's going to take a lot to get Bashir Jadwa. Maybe it's going to be a desperate lap 1 lunge like possibly we saw yesterday. I'm just putting it out there. But turn 1 Nurburgring, it's going to be exciting. These guys have got 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. They're getting their setups. So they don't have to worry about weather. Optimum track conditions for the start of this race.
Absolutely. Dan already trying to cause chaos, but we're going to really see what these chaps are made of. 90 minutes of racing, anything can happen, and we'll see a lot of these drivers have maybe focused a bit more on the race pace over the qualifying pace, and see if they can catch Bash, who's just been peerless so far this evening. Long way to go, but we'll see. So, Dan, who is your pick for the evening?
Well, it's not. It's Bash, isn't it? I mean, it has to be. It was such a dominant qualifying. I can't see it going anywhere else. So, who's the pick for best of the rest? Well, I think JC Grobler. I think JC Grobler will come good in the Audi and get second place. So there's my 2 predictions. Nick, put your neck on the line.
Okay, so outside prediction, I'm thinking even though he didn't have a great qualifying, I just know how much effort and how good race pace Ross Bartels had, and he's due a good race at Sim Race SA.
He is.
He's had fantastic results in other leagues, so I'm gonna back him. But just another one to watch out for, I think, is possibly Heineke in that Porsche.
Okay,
sort of
interesting.
Bentley, Porsche, Bentley, Audi, Bentley, and I think that Porsche could have something around here. You never know.
Yeah, and Heineke, he was hot in qualifying. So yeah, I think he definitely want to watch that. 90-minute race, guys. Join us in chat. I see we've got a few regulars. Who we got? Rob Walker, welcome. Henry Rue, always welcome. Who have we got? We got plenty of guys here. Peter Galdenez is joining us. Why isn't he on track? You should expect him to be on track. Raymond Mooney definitely should be on track. But anyway, he's in chat. Any questions, keep us busy. I think it's going to be a little bit more settled with a 90-minute race, so we can answer your questions. Got one question from Henry Rowe. Where do I see live deltas from? Henry, I have a cheat little application, which unfortunately I can't put on the terrible broadcasting overlay that is Assetto Corsa Competizione, so you'll just have to go by my word, and when I say someone's up on their delta, they are. And then hopefully Kunos will put it in. So we're on our parade lap. Take us through it, Nick.
Yeah, so everyone filing round. Remember, it'll be single file. Everybody maintaining a fairly pedestrian pace right now, around 120 kilometers an hour. All single file, getting those tires warmed up. Everybody getting into position. You can see people jostling around, finding where they should be. Of course, the cars, this is ACC, will ghost through each other, so they don't have to worry about running into the back like we used to with the Assetto Corsa. We'll get all lined up, and about 3/4 of the way through the lap, they'll then go into double file, and as soon as Bash hits that start-finish line, the lights will go out, and we will be green flag racing.
Yeah, nervous little start, but they got to get their tyres all prepped. These guys are pros at this point in ACC. It's no rookies here anymore. They know exactly the perfect parade lap to get the optimum start, and they're going to need it in turn 1. I think Bash is going to spend more time looking in his rearview mirror than he is at anything else as he approaches the turn 1 braking zone. But I think he'll trust Heineke, ex-teammates, of course, and raced with him for many years. If you want someone behind you, I'd be happy with Chris behind me.
Those two must have at least 20, 30 seasons of Sim Race SA experience between them. Loads and loads. So I wouldn't expect too much drama from those two. However, what I am seeing is a lot of guys. There's big gaps between some of these cars up and down the field. I'm just wondering why everyone's leaving so much space. Got to close up, otherwise you're giving people just a huge advantage for no real reason.
Assume you get an opportunity to do so, don't you? You get only right at the end of the lap. You have to really get into your position and form on your overlay of your screen of where you've got to be.
True. I'd get nervous though. I really want to be close up behind the guy.
Just
guy I'm
just
gonna
in
be
case something
chasing.
happens.
Just in case, you never know. All right, so
Here they are,
almost
bunching up.
ready to go.
Okay, we're going to stay in helicam view because turn 1 is going to be exciting and interesting. We want to try and catch as much of it as we can. It's only me on cameras, unfortunately. We don't have multiple computers here to get replays, so we've got to try and get it all first time. So they come around the final corner now. Nerves.
Already jostling. Look at
Really
the
are.
gap that Bash has. Well, Chris needs to really close that up. Got to be you got to be alongside.
Maybe he's trying to get a bit of a slingshot.
Maybe, but it limits you to a certain speed as you go.
They're going to get the green light any moment as they come up across the line at the end of the grids. Yeah, Chris Heineke is just hanging back a little bit. Here we go. Drive-throughs already through. Starting at Rensburg. Look at all the drive-throughs. That's a shocker.
Oh, and Oosthuizen. Yeah, that's incredible.
Bash got a great start though. Look at JC Grobler on the outside. JC Grobler on the outside. Bash is covering the inside. Heineke though has gone very, very deep. Way outbraked himself. Grobler's gone through on the inside. Bash keeps the lead though. So we got Grobler is going to go up into second spot. Had a great start.
Contact there. Looked like there was contact there between Claessens and Grobler.
We'll just pop back in middle of the field. I can't believe the amount of drive-throughs we've got. Junior McCall is right up in the middle of it. We've got Ross Bartle's gone backwards a bit as well in 5th place. We've got Brett Krewkamp behind as well. Christian Deploy was way offline. Bashir Jadwat's under a little bit of pressure here from Grobler. He's gone from 4th to 2nd. What a start from him. I told you he was one to watch out for. He's a quick driver. He's going to be tracking down Bash. Chris Heineke is dropped into 3rd place. Just went so deep in turn 1. Really, really deep.
Yeah, I'm looking at action up and down the field as well. There's all sorts happening everywhere. And
I've got Chris Heineke's had a nightmare. He's way down. Where is he? He's waiting for the timings to just... No, he's not. He's suddenly dropped. You look back, he dropped down to like 20th place. This stupid live tower that is nowhere near live. He is in 3rd place, just as we thought he was. But for a split second, he was in 20th on the live timing board.
We've got, who was that? It was, I think, Quade Claessens running wide. He's really struggling on this opening lap. I've seen a few mistakes from him running wide on a few occasions already, and that's allowed Bartle and Deploy and Krewkamp to be so close behind him. Although, actually, they're now catching Heineke at a rate of knots as well. So Heineke also having a bit of a fraught first lap in, losing a position and then also having a bit of a disaster to the end of the lap, and that's allowed Bashir Jadwat and JC Grobler to scamper away. 1.1 seconds between those two, and a further 1.2 seconds Heineke is down on Grobler. So here we go, lap 2.
So we got people serving their drive-through penalties. I mean, what a mistake that is on your... I mean, that's just a parade lap invalidation, isn't it? You've got Mark van Rensburg, who really should know better. We've had a few guys that have knocked their penalties off. I'm just going to go down. You've got, Van Rensburg. Dwayne Hall is currently in the pits, assuming serving it. Oosthuizen in the pits in 31st place, serving his drive-through as well. That's a disaster. I mean, 90-minute race. Last thing you want is a drive-through on lap 1.
Yeah, I'm imagining it must have been for out of position.
Yes, no, you get a drive-through for out of position. Had one yesterday in a race as well. You just can't believe guys would not get that nailed down. It's pretty straightforward. It's on your screen. If you get it wrong, you get a drive-through. It's pretty simple.
All right, so we've got Claessens, Bartle, Deploy and Krewkamp all really exceptionally close to each other, although it does look like Heineke and Claessens are slightly pulling away from Bartle at this stage, just a little bit, by a tenth or so. Oh, I see Heineke's hit the dirt. He's hit the dirt on the outside, and that's really allowed Claessens to be all over the back of him, and he's run wide.
Yeah, just slightly, we're looking at all these lovely new liveries, and we've got Quade Claessens in a blank Bentley, so he's obviously not finished his livery yet, because we're used to seeing him in his 80k colours. So, we've got Chris Heineke. Oh, look how close they are between the Porsche and the Bentley here as they come through the chicane section up to the final corner.
That's incredible. You saw how much the 911 was bouncing all over those curbs, and the Bentley just absolutely mullered over them. It was... I think Heineke maybe again ran slightly wide over them, but certainly the Bentley seemed to handle that section much better. But now the 911 is allowed to scamper away, and suddenly Bartle is all over the back of Claassen. This must be the battle that's caused that gap to close up again.
Sorry guys, just getting familiar with the cameras. It's been a while since I've I found the shortcuts. We're riding on board now with Clay Claassen as he's trying to track down Chris Heineke in the Porsche. Just trying to settle himself down. He was so quick in qualifying, was Chris Heineke. Had a couple of real flyers, cement himself for the front row of the grid, but just struggling a little bit more maybe with the fuel weight and the heavier car. And Claassen's looks certainly more stable as he has a tiny wobble, as exactly as I say that.
I mean, we've got an incredible battle all the way through the top 10, from 3rd all the way down to 10th position. There's barely anything between all of these drivers. So you've got the clump of Heineke, Claassen's, Bartle, and with Deploy slightly falling back, but then Deploy, Krocump, Stain, McCall, that's Junior, all exceptionally close to each other.
Yeah, Junior McCall is looking good. He's gained places, I think, over his qualifying time, and I think he's going to be quick. He's a massively improved driver, as young Junior McCall. I'm expecting great things from him as he just continues to grow. He's a scary prospect for some other drivers, is Junior McCall, with how much he's improved, and he's only going to get better as a young 12-year-old.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got Morgan, his brother, down in 14th, involved in a fairly close battle between Venter, McCall, Kruger, Governor, Van Niekerk, and Ferrand. Actually, Ferrand's a bit further off, but he's in his own battle. Ferrand, Benz, Van der Westhuizen, Kotze, and Brett Lindsay Ray coming up on the back of that battle, with Flip Van Sale right behind him. There's battles all over this grid. You just don't know where to look right now. It's incredible.
Yeah, they got 90 minutes. They want to just be careful and patient, but they got through turn 1. I mean, all that talk before, and they were, 37 car grid, didn't see any problems. You see someone just shooting through. Kruger goes through on the inside of Govender. Oh, and Govender's just turned around in turn 1, exactly as I say that, with an LLC car. So that's a bit unfortunate. We get through lap 1, but we can't get through lap 4 or 5 without an incident at turn 1.
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed that one. I was watching Kotze on Van der Westhuizen having a real go, and he's got that position made. A little bit of paint rubbing, paint swapping to get that done, but he's now really gained with Endron having his problems and making contact. So suddenly Kotze is going to shoot up that timing board. Or, as I said, he runs slightly wide in that Aston Martin. But fantastic racing. These guys really giving it all up and down the grid. It doesn't matter where you are.
No, so Sass is doing pretty well in 20th place, but yeah, there's not much space to breathe anywhere in this grid. We'll work our way back towards the leaders just to check in to see whether Chris Heineke has managed to relax a bit. He has indeed. He's just stretched his leg from Quade Claassen's. Porsche is maybe taking a little bit longer than some of the other cars to get settled down, and Chris Heineke now is in a bit of a rhythm, and he's trying to track down Grobler in 2nd place where he started.
Yeah, sometimes it does, as a driver, take a little bit of time to get into your own personal rhythm, and of course, tyres being definitely not in the optimal condition does nothing to really help that. But that's why you see the guys like Bashir Jadwat, absolute class of the field right now, 3 seconds already ahead of Grobler, and the gap's starting to spread out a little bit as these drivers find their feet. I'm seeing Bartle's a close-ish battle at the moment. Venter in 13th, also a fairly close battle. But yeah, the gaps are starting to spread out a little bit. As I see Sean Bingham taking... Who's that going into the pits? For LLC Racing.
Oh, that was... he was in a... He was the one that had a shunt with earlier on turn 1 with Govender. So he's obviously going into repair, I think.
Interesting. So he's taking his pit stop now. Yeah, the front of that
Yeah,
Ferrari.
he was quite heavily damaged. He got hit on the side and then went into the wall as well. So not surprised he's going in for repair. It's a tough ask to go the rest of the race. I think maybe looking for a 2-stopper now, most likely.
So. Yeah, I would agree with that. Certainly, probably an hour is about the longest you want to be doing. Maybe an hour 15 actually on the tyres. This is especially for that Ferrari, I think it's gonna push the tires a little bit too much. If he was in the Aston or the Bentley, possibly, but who are traditionally pretty soft on the tires.
Can I have a moment of silence, please, for Brent Lindsay Ray and the fact that he has ditched the Jag and he's in a Mercedes AMG, and he is much more competitive as a result. So yeah, I don't blame him, but I am still just a little bit of me has died. He will be getting a lot less stream time. That's all I can say. Right, Chris Heineke, he is caught right up to Grobler, and he is now a threat for second position, reclaiming the spot he got in qualifying. And yeah, Grobler is just, he tried to hold on to Bash at the start, had great pace, brilliant start, but Bash has now stretched his legs in that Boatley. And yeah, Grobler is trying now to hold on to his second place. So it could be interesting between these two. Porsche is settled down now. It looks a lot better than it did. He just took a few laps just to get settled, did Chris Heineke. But yeah, a lot of pressure now being piled onto our new boy in this league in JC Grobler.
Yeah, absolutely. But great to see him so high up, and in an Audi as well. I mean, the next
yeah, there isn't.
Audi,
where? I mean, I don't. There isn't. There isn't.
No, there isn't.
The next Audi is in Division 2.
Yeah, exactly.
So well done for taking a car. I mean, for that a reason alone, he gets some plaudits, I think.
So from what I hear in general in the chat of the Audi, is it is quick. It is a quick car.
Yeah,
but
I've heard.
It's also a car that wants to kill you as well at certain points during the race. So we'll have to see how he manages it.
But then the Lambo's a bit like that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, true. But
So,
you don't see any Lambos right now.
No, but yeah, it's Lambo and the Audi. You're not surprised they're relatively similar.
Okay, so of the, should we say, rogue picks of vehicle, obviously Grobler in second in the Audi, Heineke the first of the Porsches in third, Junior McCall the first of the AMG Mercs in ninth. Interestingly, Kieran Patterson, the quickest Ferrari, the most popular car at SimRace SA this season.
And only in 10th.
And only in 10th. Maybe it's the track. Maybe the track is not the Ferrari track. Followed closely there by Hannes van Wyk in the quickest of the Astons right now. And our first Lexus is Wesley Ferrand in 16th position and looking all over.
Wow, that looks like a stormtrooper, that Wesley Ferrand car. I mean, I like that. It looks mean in white and the eyes on it and the paneling. I know Ryan's been working on that skin. The paneling looks pretty cool. And he's he's looking to make a pass on Kruger here. Into turn one is Wesley Ferrand looking up the inside. Going to be late on the brakes.
Lexus on Aston. Is he going to make it stick? He's certainly giving it everything. A little bit of lock up there. You saw
plenty of space given by Kruger, it has to be said. I mean, he just left the barn door open there, and Wesley Ferrand said, "Thank you very much. I'll take 16th spot."
Yeah, LLC. Ruben Kruger living to fight another day rather than being...
But he's got Jonathan Bentz now for company, because I think he was a bit too friendly, was Kruger there, a bit too cautious possibly. But Jonathan then you look in the rearview mirror, that mean stormtrooper coming up behind. I'm not surprised it made you jump out of the way.
Jonathan Bentz in the Bentley, but of course runs the Yellow Design Company. And if anybody's looking for an epic livery,
and he's got one on his own car, obviously, an epic livery, because it would be a bit disappointing if he was going around in a blank vehicle, wouldn't it? It's not very good company branding.
No, but certainly his work is phenomenal, and yeah, we've in fact as Point Blank used them before and been exceptionally happy with the results. So yeah, really worth the spend if that's what you're looking for. Anyhow, he's looking to catch up to Kruger. A little bit wayward on this lap, but certainly that Aston Martin is in his sights. Oh, I see. Who was that? Ferrand ran a little bit wide through that chicane and onto the back straight. Kruger is now looking to unleash the Mercedes power that's underneath that Aston Martin. That livery he's got looks very shiny. It's almost speckled with the metallic paint. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, it's like chrome-like, isn't it? But a red sort of maroon chrome. Wondering whether Kruger's going to return the favour here on Ferrand in this lap going into turn one, or whether Ferrand is going to think no chance, cover the inside. I don't think he's close enough, is he? Ferrand's actually stretched ahead. He's Yeah.
Bence is much closer, I think, to him than he is to Ferrand.
He's wide again, though, isn't he? On his own, Kruger there through turn 1. Want to watch that because he'll get people just putting their nose in if you leave a space that big.
Yeah, 100%.
Just looking on the deltas and saw Grobler was 6/10 down on this lap, and it's not surprising then that Chris Heinecker is caught him and is right behind him now. So Grobler's having a bit of a shocker. He's way down on his delta from his best, and Heinecker now is within 2/10. Couldn't get much closer to that Audi.
No, but remember the Porsche has never been the quickest in a straight line. Audi's always been pretty decent, so where he's going to make his move is going to be very critical. Oh, he runs wide.
Yeah, and this is going to be the pass. Chris Heineker's going to capitalise here. He's going to take back second space.
Outside.
Perfect pass. He capitalised. He was there. He just had to be close enough, and he was. So any mistake that was going to be shown by Grobler, but Grobler's now in the toe.
That Audi. Look at that. Look at the speed. Oh, there's going to be
running out of space there. Really is Grobler. He's a bit livid that he's lost his place. He's trying to get it back as quickly as possible. He's not going to get it through here though. Certainly one car through the chicanes. Can he get around into turn 1 braking zone? No, doesn't look. He made a bit of a mess of that. Claessens is now having a look. Claessens is looking up the inside. He's tucked behind.
Not the best on the straight line. He doesn't.
It's being helped along here by an Audi, though, isn't it? He's looking up the inside. He's going to be late on the brakes. He's showing the inside. He's going to take it.
Oh,
they're going to touch.
Very good on the brakes. No, that's
not
good
quite.
Driving. That was good driving by Quaid. You almost had to come to a dead stop, and the Bentley has the brakes to be able to do it.
Yeah, well avoided an instant there, didn't he? We just avoided that.
Big time. Good driving from all, and look at this train. I'm looking at the helicopter view at the moment, and there's just Audi, Bentley, in fact.
Riding on board with Grobler, looking back towards the Bentley grille, the very ominous grille of Quade Claessens as he drives track down. Just feel like Grobler's just struggling a little bit here, lost his rhythm. He's down again on his delta in this lap because obviously he's been scrapping in turn 1. Just needs to try and settle. Whether Chris Heine can just use the opportunity to stretch his legs and stay and cement that second place before we get into the pit stop window.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, this is an incredible battle up front. I mean, so we've got Chris Heinecker, who is now romping away from Grobler, who's under pressure, as we've seen from all of those Bentleys.
Ross Bartel and your two guys in Ross Bartel and Brett Krugkamp, their bright liveries are not far behind whatsoever, waiting to pick up any scraps left by these two. Are coming together and they'll be there to capitalise because, their Claessens is close, isn't he? He really is. Look how close he is. He's being towed.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, Brett Krugkamp is a guy who likes to be exceptionally consistent, play the long waiting game. That's kind of his...
he made a mistake there, did Grobler, through the chicane. It wasn't tidy at all. He might get away with it, though, because there's no space before they're in the braking zone for the last corner.
Even running a little bit wide, almost onto the gravel on the exit of that corner. The Bentley's just not able to make any kind of... moves stick into turn
struggles
1
in a straight line, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, Grobler's looking a little bit untidy, I have to say. In the last few laps we've been riding on board and watching him, just a touch untidy, not as dominant and aggressive as he was in the first lap, which saw him gain those places from 4th to 2nd. He's dropping back now.
And I think this is even allowing Marcus Steyn and Junior McCall, despite them battling tooth and nail for 8th position, to me look like they're now catching the back of Brett Krugkamp. So this whole train is really starting to concertina back together.
Yeah, you've got those sort of 3rd to 7th place are very close. Right in a little train here. Got Bashir Jadrat now. We don't give him enough praise because he's just off on his own. Probably could do with a scrap with Esser and Raymond Moody, but he's getting the points where he needs it, and he's 10 seconds ahead already, and we still got an hour and 11 minutes to go. So already he's probably in management mode as he just gets a slight twitch of the back of that Bentley. I'll leave you, Bash, on your own, I promise. Let's go back and check on the others because I wouldn't want to put a commentator's curse on him. But yeah, Grobler, he's really struggling to hold Claessens behind. And with an hour, if you had 5-10 minutes left of this race, fair enough. But an hour and 10, the pressure starts mounting, I think.
That's certainly an ask. And I've got to say that while Heineke did scamper away a little bit from Probler, a couple of laps ago, and also got to say that that livery that Heineke has is pretty spectacular. But Probler is still kind of hanging on within about a second of Heineke. So you got to wonder that is Claessen's actually quicker than Heineke as well?
Yeah, we won't know, will we? They're being held in a train. They need to be able to show themselves. Klaassen certainly is looking very settled in that Bentley, but he's being held up for sure. And Heineke's not pulling away significantly at all, is he? He's had a few laps just of fresh tarmac with no one on it in front of him, and he's still not more than a second ahead.
It looks like Probler's found his pace again, is starting to catch him. If anything, it looks like... Oh, hang on. Probler's run wide.
That was wide. Very wide. Oh, look how much time he lost there.
Yeah, massive. That's huge.
So come down to the hairpin.
Oh, no, sorry, the hairpin. Apologies. That was a different corner. I thought he'd lost it through the hairpin.
Yeah. Now we come up to Schumacher S's.
Yeah, this is the problem with using the helicopter view. All the corners kind of look the same, but it does give you a great view of kind of the gaps that we have in this whole train.
Yeah, it's a real scrap between these guys. We want to try and stick on it if we can, but if anyone else wants to see something particular, we've got Wesley Ferran is apparently catching Morgan as well. Just have a look. Oh, he's still 2 seconds though. We'll keep an eye on the delta and see when that comes down, so we won't miss anything for you. Anyone you particularly want to see in chat, just let us know, and we'll make sure to get them some stream time. But in the meantime, this pressure that's mounting on Grobler in second spot is third position is pretty monumental, and you feel if the cork is released, there's a few other drivers waiting to push their way through as well, in Ross Bartle, Christian Deploy and Brett Krugkamp, just waiting in the wings in a whole train of Bentleys.
And just in case you're wondering, there's only a train of cars up at the front. There's, for 24th position, we've got... Let's see, we've got
Hugo de Wet.
Jansen van Vuren.
Oh, there's a pass as we just got moved.
Oh, yeah.
Just caught that pass. Very nicely done.
Yeah, and then there's a train. Hugo de Wet, Flip van Sale, Thompson.
Yeah, similar, isn't it?
Bingham. There's just like lots of them. Even, who's that? Van der Westhuizen. I think that's Sas van der Westhuizen, actually, yes. Something's happened to Sas, and he's fallen all the way back down.
He's got some damage on the front of that Ferrari, I think. He's been in contact with something, has Sass.
Sean Bingham also seems to be struggling slightly in the Aston at the moment. But as I say, an incredible train of cars all the way down at the the bottom end of Division 1 right now. But guys are giving it absolutely everything for every position. Really is fantastic to watch.
Grobler's managed, he just goes in waves, doesn't he, JC Grobler? Because he soaks up a whole load of pressure. You'd think the pass is just about to come, and then he just manages to get a quick lap in and relieve that pressure a little bit, because he can breathe at least a tiny bit easier than he was the previous sort of half dozen laps. As a tiny bit of a gap starts to form to Quay Claessen's behind. Maybe he's just dropping back, regroup, and have another go.
I see Moritz Krugkamp has had a problem, and he's now fallen into that massive train of cars for, was it about 23rd position, 22nd position now. Just, from 22nd all the way down to 29th. These guys are nose to tail. It really is quite incredible. It almost looks like they're on the formation lap. They're so close to each other. But they are giving it absolutely everything.
Someone's mentioned Mark van Rensburg, who obviously served a drive-through penalty in that parade lap. One of about 4 drivers that received a drive-through penalty, but he's served it, and he's obviously came out probably at the back of the field, and he's got himself all the way back up into 20th spot. So he's driving very well. Will be probably extremely disappointed about the drive-through, but he's on a bit of a recovery drive, and no doubt probably got a pit again. Well, yeah, you don't serve your drive-through, you don't serve your pit stop, so you obviously have to pit it again. So he's still got 1 next to his name.
Yeah, correct. As the name suggests, drive-through. So you
didn't actually pit.
You have to be a pretty good pit crew to put some tyres on whilst
it's moving. Although some of these Formula 1 cars, I mean, the Red Bull pit stops look like the car is still moving. Yeah. It's that quick. But yeah, I think the stewards would have a little bit to say about that.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so let's see. Grobbler, definitely still a bit of a gap there.
He's settling down at the front now, isn't it? Just starting to spread out just a little bit. I mean, it's still close. Any mistake, and you're going to be right back there. But just a sigh of relief and can concentrate more on driving than defending.
You said that. I just saw him run wide through a corner very slightly, dip the wheels just ever so tiny amount into the gravel, and that is a killer in ACC. So again, he's fallen not back into the clutches, but certainly he's now closer to Klaasen's than he is to Heineke. And as I say, I think this speaks to the difficulty it is to be consistent with the Audi. So yes, it is quick on one lap, absolutely no question about that. But it does seem to be a difficult car to keep on the black stuff consistently through a race. So yeah, we'll have to keep monitoring it. I'm sure it's going to give us some very, very interesting results.
Yeah, definitely seems more of a handful than the Bentley, that's for sure. Just riding with the Audi and the two behind is Klaasen seems to be much happier. Or certainly looks more planted. What are people doing, Dan? Let's have a look. Best lap of the race is, no surprise, Bashir Jadra at 153.6. I mean,
goodness, that's 0.5 off his best, basically.
So it's unbelievable.
Well, his qualifying time.
Well, second best. Who's second best? We've got JC Grobler as the second best lap time, 154.2. So we're 6/10 lower. So similar to qualifying, to be fair, similar to qualifying, because Bashir Jadra had a significant lead. But yeah, that's not the times that Grobler's doing now. His last ride through the gate was a 155 flat. Heineke 154.7, so is stretching his lead slowly but surely in second place. Almost matched though is Craig Klaasen's. Klaasen's and Grobler are lapping as you would expect, because we've been riding on board with them so close. And I go, just jump back to him there, straight there again. Oh, we got Kruger's got a drive-through penalty in 18th position.
I was just about to say, that must be for track cuts, isn't it? Surely?
I would have thought so. I can't think of it as anything else. Maybe it's chicane. He's popped himself through there naughtily a few too many times. I'm not sure, but it's yeah, he's not pitted, so it's not speeding in the pit lane. It will definitely be track cuts, I think. So Kruger in 18th will be serving a drive-through penalty.
Bartel and Klaasen's.
Oh, here we go on the final corner. Just cut to it, and we've got Klaasen's. Looked like he's going to take a lunge, but thought better of it and dropped back behind Grobler. Look how close Bartel is behind as well, though.
Yeah, there's no way really to make a move in the last corner, but here we go. So Klaasen's needs to make... Oh, he's covered off... Grobler's covered off the inside. The Bentley is so good on the brakes. I think with that kind of gap, he could have made a move up the inside had Grobler not closed the door really early.
You feel like he's got to, because the Bentley is not... He's struggling in the toe, isn't it? It's not getting him anywhere. Oh, on the arena section, gone very tight, but he's got the inside line as Grobler. He's going to hold on to it. Trying to go around the outside is Klaasen's. Gone very wide back onto the track, back as they were.
Yeah, there'll be a track cut, but that's okay. A guy like Klaasen's will have plenty of those in hand. Oh, that is super close behind Grobler, almost running into the back of the Audi. That would have been disastrous for both of them, but they live to fight another day.
And obviously you've got Klaasen's is getting pressure himself from Bartel, so he's getting a little bit impatient here. Feels like he's got to try and make a move because Grobler is slowing him up.
Oh, absolutely. You've got to make a move when you can find it.
Look at Bartel though. Yeah, Bartel's looking up the inside as well. And then Deploy behind us looking as well. Everyone's having a look here. It's like you're in a traffic jam on the N2 and you got to try and overtake 4 cars to get past the truck because someone doesn't want to pass. I think 100%. I'll do all of them.
Klaasen's is trying to find out how much Bentley you can fit in the boot of an Audi R8 at the moment. This is incredible. How they haven't touched this lap, I don't know.
I mean, this is border bullying, isn't it? 4 Bentleys ganging up on the poor little Audi. I mean, it looks very ominous in your rearview mirror, and everyone's having a look for space.
I haven't watched the Bentley Boys documentary, but I imagine this is kind of what it's all about, isn't it? All the Bentley's just ganging up on it.
Let's take a look at what he will be seeing. It's sort of the rear view mirror, if you like, from Grobler, as he's got Klaasen's not far behind those. Bartel, Christian Deploy, Brent Krugkamp, 4 Bentleys, all waiting in the wings. for a
100%.
mistake.
I mean, barely a tow rope between the five of them.
But yeah, as you say, the Bentley just doesn't make any headroom on the straight. It just doesn't. If anything, they get dropped.
Yeah, it's never been good with that. It's always been a weakness. The sort of medium speed corners, I think, in general, the layout of the Bentley hasn't helped in terms of powering it out of those medium speed corners.
But good on the brakes, you say. So I mean, you think if you've got any opportunity, you want to just close your eyes, count to 1, and then brake.
100%. That's certainly where I used to make up positions in the Bentleys. You kind of feel like you're throwing a move on someone, but
last of the late breakers. If you know you're going to get it stopped, though, that's the strength of the vehicle, isn't it? You got to. I mean, I think Claessens might eventually be making a move. He's doing the right thing, Claessens. I mean, there's still an hour to go in this race. It's not a sprint. It is an endurance race for a single driver. So you've got time to wait for mistakes. But as time goes on, you start to think to yourself, it's never going to happen, and you want to try and force it a little bit.
Yeah, Chris Heineke must be absolutely loving this because, of course, it's giving him the ability to build
2.7 seconds now is Heineke.
Well, Claessen's just made a mistake through that section, and now Bartel's all over the back, although Bartel got a little bit squirrely coming onto the back straight, and here we go.
Yeah, it'd be gutting for Claessens, who's been held up so long, to then make a mistake himself and lose a place to Bartel. And he got 2 cars to try and make back. I think
He won't be complaining himself.
All lapping very similar, but that last lap through the gate was a second slower than they were. 156.0 for Grobler, and they were 155 flat. This one, he's just gone the line, is 155.4, so had a very scrappy last lap. Did all of these drivers. Obviously, they were being held up by Grobler.
10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th are also reasonably close. Not one to cut to, I would say, at this point. But they're pretty close to each other. And, of course, our battle for 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, those guys are also reasonably close together as well. See, Sean Bingham seems to have worked his way past, who's that, Oosthuizen.
Yeah, Peter Oosthuizen in 26th place, but I think Bingham's ahead of him, isn't he? Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is. Ooh, just ran wide there. That'll allow the McLaren to catch a little bit up, but I think Bingham has worked his way past Oosthuizen rather than than Oosthuizen catching him. We'll have to
another very nice livery. I mean, what is with all the point blank liveries? They're throughout the field. I mean, wonder you're picking them out, but that Aston does look good in it, I think.
Yeah, I particularly like the aggressive V on the bonnet.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Who did that? Shout out for whoever made that.
I think that was actually internally built. I think Matt, our fearless leader, Matt created that one.
Okay, excellent. Very well done.
Boy, unfortunately not racing himself tonight, but you know, problems with starting your own business. Unfortunately, it's more than a full-time job.
Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, we got a run here from Claessens. We got a run here. No, he's tucked back in before the chicane. That's not the spot where you want. Seems to be where he is quick though, Craig Claessens. But it's Grobler goes wide on the grass again. Just Claessens, that's where he's quick, and it's not going into a completely do not want to send it in the chicane, do you? I mean, that is one spot on this lap where you don't want to risk it.
100%. I stayed with Sean Bingham, and unfortunately he's lost 2 positions in about the space of the same number of corners. So both Sassan de Vesthuizen and who's that, Oosthuizen have now got past Sean Bingham.
Yeah, so he drops back into 26th place.
Ooh, that is very wide from Grobler through the Mercedes arena.
Yeah, he's really holding on to it. I mean, he's starting to think now, is an undercut the solution to the problem? If you can't pass with all this effort, maybe pit strategy's your way through for Craig Claessens.
Yeah, it's not a bad call. 56 minutes left though, so we are just over half an hour in. Yeah, so let's call it. It's a third into the race, and certainly the Bentleys are fine on fuel.
I mean, he's been following now for what are we saying? 20 minutes. I would say, and not being able to make a pass. He's quick through this section here up towards the chicane, but vitally he cannot get a toe down the main straight. into turn 1 braking, which you feel like is where he needs to try and get a pass done. So maybe pit strategy's where you should be thinking.
Yeah, and the other issue, of course, is where do you come out? So if you pitted, although actually looking at the track map, I have to say, just complete thumbs up here, ladies and gentlemen, that I think you'd probably come out in pretty good free air. At the moment, the only person I can think would be a problem is Sean Stradham in 31st place, who's kind of in the middle of no man's land, and probably going to be lapped by 18th position at some point. So I think you'd be fine if you pitted. And in fact, I see someone is in the pits, or it's Crowcamp is in the pits.
Crowcamp's in the pits. We've had a shout out to our check-in with Wesley Ferrand and his Stormtrooper, and the gap to Morgan McCall, which was under a second. But Ferrand is just stretching now and is 1.2. Finds himself in a little bit of no man's land. He can get his Lexus dialed in, take the line exactly as he wants.
Speaking of undercuts and McCalls, Junior McCall is in the pits.
There we go. The first one to go into the pits, Junior McCall.
Yeah,
might not be a bad choice, eh? I don't think it might. It might not be a bad choice. I didn't see where Junior McCall was in relation to the train up ahead, but you could gain places here.
Yeah, I think he's going to come out into absolutely free air. The only one he's going to have to worry about is Sean Stradham. Let's see, when's he coming out?
I mean, the people that Brett Crewcamp, Ross Bartle, they're the ones that could really gain. I mean, you've got Quade Clarsons, but I mean, he's looking to gain 1 spot. But Bartle or Crewcamp or Christian Deploy, those guys, if they were to do the undercut, they could gain 2 or 3 spots. I mean, they could potentially do all of them.
Junior's definitely got a problem. His pit has you can see it's gone green. I saw the car jump up and down off the jacks. Something has happened here to Junior. I don't know what it is, but
he's not leaving.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got some technical difficulties, Junior McCall. Oh, this will be a disaster. Running well in the top 10 was Junior McCall when he pitted, I think, in 9th spot. Got someone else in the pits as well. Edrin Govender just went past Junior McCall to come into the pits.
So he's clearly managed his damage up until this point and has taken a slightly earlier pit stop.
Oh, just cut back to that battle with Cropper and Clarsons, and they're all side by side. Oh, we've got a pit stop behind. We've got a pit stop. Ross Bartle's coming into the pits. That's a good move, I think.
Clarsons made it. Look at that, he's made it. Clarsons has got past Grobler eventually through the last corner of the lap. I don't know how on earth he managed to do that, but he did manage to send it up the inside. Grobler looking to do the same to him into turn 1, but Clarsons shutting the door, going very narrow.
And we got Christian Deploy now having a look as well as Grobler goes backwards into 4th spot where he started. Clarson's finally been released, and I think he needed to as well with Ross Bartle in the pits. So Ross Bartle is pitting, could potentially undercut Grobler as well.
Who runs wide again? That'll be another track cut for Grobler, I would imagine. So now this is going to get very interesting, Dan, because it is released Clarsons finally, but at exactly the same point, Bartle's come in for the undercut.
Yeah, so, I think Clarsons needed it. He really needed it because he was at... I mean, Bartle could have got both of them here. So Clarkson, look how much of a gap he's got already over Grobler.
Exiting the pits now. He's just left his box. He is going to come out just behind Stradom. And
we got Stain got through past Crewcamp behind as well. Just saw it in the background as we were riding on board. And Brett Crewcamp's dropped behind and Stain's got him for 6th spot in the Porsche.
Something happened there.
Yeah, just got a pass in the background. Looked like a good pass.
Grobler and Deploy all over the back of each other now. Or Deploy, I should say, is all over the back of Grobler.
So where has Ross Bartle... Yeah, Deploy's got a real run on him here. It's where the Bentley seems so strong, but it's coming up into the braking zone of the chicane where it really is one at a time. Oh, it's coming in. It's coming in. Grobler's coming in. So he's blinked. Ross Bartle, has he come out in clean air? Let's just check in with him. He has indeed. This is vital that he came out in clean air, not being held back. This is going to be interesting with Ross Bartle, whether that extra lap. I mean, he only had, what, 2 laps? 1.5 or a lap and an out lap to try and get the undercut done on Grobler. Marcus Stain also in the pits. Piran Patterson is in the pits as well from 10th spot. So we're starting to get some of our leaders coming in.
We saw Stain taking Brett Crocombe basically on the same lap, and now he's decided to pit as well. So that's interesting. Remember at the very beginning of the stream, I talked about how the track evolves an awful lot in the first half of this race and then very little in the second half. So a lot of these guys, I think, have decided to kind of split their strategy in terms of tire pressures and you know, kind of split the difference and take less pain, but pit early. I know Bartle was not considering doing that, but I think, as you say, being stuck in that train, he's just decided to throw the dice.
Yeah, so I've got Grobler is just leaving the pits now. Bartle is coming down the pit straight. I think he's done it. I think he's done it comfortably as well.
Easily. And look how close Stain is.
Look how effective that undercut is from Ross Bartle.
Stop go for Stain.
Speeding in the pit lane.
I thought it looked like he closed up behind Grobler incredibly quickly through the pits, and it must have been speeding on entry. That is really unfortunate.
That was a significant gain in the undercut there from Ross Bartle. Exactly what he wanted. As he's halfway through an arena section ahead of...
Absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant.
So, Deploy, Claessens and Crocombe need to stay out as long as possible now.
Yeah, because that's it. Yeah, I think they would lose as well, wouldn't they? I'm not sure. I'm just checking on Claessen's lap times. How is he doing? 1:55.4. It's not quick. It's not particularly quick, is Craig Claessen's. It's pretty much where he was lapping already. Ross Bartle, last time out, it's his out lap, unfortunately, so I need to wait until he's done one full lap to see where he was. So he only had one out lap, an in and an out lap, to get that undercut done, and Ross Bartle is gained significantly over Grobler.
Yeah, so this could play into Ross's hands heavily over Deploy and Crocombe, and of course the man who made the pass himself, currently sitting, what's it, in third place, it looks like to me, in Claessen's.
What a disaster for Marcus Stain. Stop go 30. I mean, that is the worst penalty ever, isn't it? I mean, that's race ending penalty, really. It's not a drive through. Stop go 30. My word, that's gonna punish him. One thing you don't want to do, speed in the pit lane.
100%. So Heineke is currently 17 seconds behind Jadwat. Jadwat almost with a pit stop in hand.
Now Claessens has been released though. Look, 1.9. He's caught to the back of Heineke.
Yeah.
We questioned whether he had the pace over Heineke being held back, and it appears like maybe he has.
So what sort of lap times is Heineke doing and versus Claessens?
Last time through, Heineke was not quick at all, 1:56, but he's been just driving on his own. So, I mean, you don't know whether he's just settled into an easy rhythm. But, yeah, Claessens was 0.6 quicker in the last lap over Heineke.
And we said Claessens isn't doing lap times particularly fast either. It was
no, 1:55.4. I mean, to be fair, that it's roughly there or thereabouts. Still nearly 0.7 slower than Bash, just going around on his own. But yeah, Craig Claessens is gaining 0.6 over Heineke. I'm waiting for Crew Camp to no, not Crew Camp, but sorry, Ross Bartle to cross the line. He was 55.2, so 0.2 quicker than Claessens. If you keep knocking those out and the pit stop happens, that might be enough though, because we're talking a second at best, 2 seconds at the very most was the gap before the pit. Pit strategy.
If anyone's spotting for Claessens, actually what you then want to do is pit right now.
Yeah, I think he's got just enough to cover now. Obviously, the undercut's incredibly strong in ACC anyway with the tyres. It's always been strong.
We've got Deploy in the pits. Deploy is in the pits, and Jonathan Bentz is in the pits as well. Just coming in now. And I see Junior McCall still sitting in the pits, so there's something
it's a retirement from Junior McCall. That's we'll have to figure out what happened, because he was going perfectly well in the top 10. So I think it can only be technical difficulties or something that's forced him just to pit. I mean, he came into the pits, didn't he? It wasn't like he's exited to pits. It wasn't a crash or anything. It was literally parked it.
See, Robert McCall is in the YouTube chat. So Robert, please let us know what's going on with Junior.
Yeah, I'm suspecting some sort of technical problem, possibly. Jonathan Bentz in the pits.
Oh, hang on.
Trying to find a comment from Robert
I'm trying to find
Please report
something.
some commentary, I see. Let's see
Oh,
whether...
Robert says I'm calling in both drivers as they are sick as dogs. So unfortunately, it looks like.
Oh, shame.
I hope it's not the dreaded Rona, but
Well, there's certainly a lot of sick drivers in the league at the moment, with a few missed the start and now a few that are stopping halfway through. I mean, he must have been. He's running on his own in 9th position was Junior McCall, so hopefully he gets well soon. We don't want anyone to drive through. It can't. It's not a very nice place to be in a car anyway. It's SimRig even. It's not a very nice place when you're not feeling 100%.
Yeah, I see Matthew Boy shouting for Ross Bartle, of course. Point Blank Sim Racing team principal, throwing his full support behind the chaps. That's fantastic, and yeah, it's a real shame. Although we've seen Junior in the pits. I didn't see
Morgan McCall's still going round. He's in 7th
Yeah.
place. He's thinking, I don't care how sick I am. I want these points. So we'll see how he gets on. Everyone's coming in the pits now. Chris Heineke is in the pits from 2nd position. This is vital where he's going to come. Wesley Ferrant in the pits.
And look at that, halfway through the race, almost exactly. We'll see if
that's such a boring strategy, isn't it? I think you want to mix it up if you can. I think Ross Bartle pitted a few laps earlier than he probably wanted to, and it might have paid off for him. We'll see.
I think you'll see Crowcamp coming into the pits as well.
Heineke's just leaving now, and Bartle is coming down the pit straight. He might have enough to get Heineke. Here he is into turn 1. Chris Heineke. Side by side. Bartle's got it.
Look at that. That is incredible.
There's a demonstration of the power of the undercut in Chris Bartle. Sorry, Ross Bartle, Chris Bartle. Ross Bartle is effectively second. That undercut, we called it at the time. Someone needed to take the risk, and it's got him from like 5th or 6th position up into 2nd place.
Yeah, fantastic move there by Ross. What a call by... that was not team orders at all. I'm telling you right now, Ross made that call all on his own. Point Blank Sim Racing, Grumpy Monkey really gaining hugely there.
Yeah, that was. I mean, he might as well. We were saying there was like 4 Bentleys in a row stacked up behind Grobler. One of them, I mean, if you're not the one directly behind, as in Claassens, you might as well. And that's exactly what Bartle did. And it's gained him 3 spots.
Yeah. Really fantastic stuff. Okay, so we've got Claassens and Crowcamp. I told you Crowcamp was going to come in now.
So this is vital. Where did Claassens gain enough time
I don't think he would.
to avoid this undercut? I think that he's going to come ahead of Ross Bartle and sneak in. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Bartle's going to have enough. I think Bartle's going to be between Grobler and Claassens, but we will see.
I'm eagerly watching the...
This is vital now for the podium positions. A strategy called. Bartle's going through the chicane now.
Claassens is off.
Claassens is off. I think he's going to do it.
Easy.
I think Bartle's gained himself a net podium result here, but I don't think he's going to have enough. Oh, it's a long pit lane.
Hang on.
It's a long pit lane.
He's done it. He's done it. He's done it. Look at this. Here we go. Boom.
He has. What an undercut.
Second place. Not even a question or a shadow of a doubt. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There was a mistake. Claassen should have pitted earlier, shouldn't he? Because he's going to be super, super surprised of what on earth happened. How did Ross Bartle manage to make it past me?
Yeah, he's going to watch the replay and go, what on earth happened there? But that is what on earth happened there. So
I said Claassen's times weren't quick. I said Claassen's time, but I mean Jadwa, he could pit. I mean, he could pit whenever he wants. It's going to make no difference, is it? Every 20-second lead, it doesn't matter.
I watched him come to the line, and he was pushing that line. He really was pushing that line.
That's the racer in him. He never relaxes. Does Bashir Jadwa, even in a 20-second gap at the lead.
He knows that all sorts.
So we got Quade Claassens has just changed to 3rd place. No, he's changed to 4th because we got Chris. Look, Christian Deploy's undercut also got him up into 3rd. We missed that one. So Bartle and Deploy both pitted, and that was enough to get Claassens and Grobler and Heineke.
So I think Claassens is going to have the pace to catch Deploy. I just have a feeling. But our top 4 now are all Bentleys. I don't know if you've noticed.
And they've all completely switched around, haven't we? Almost in reverse order as what they were. We had Grobler, Heineke, Bartel, Deploy, and now it's the other way around. Bartel, Deploy, Claessens, Heineke, Grobler. So they literally switched positions on whoever pitted first. So whether it's going to have an effect towards the end of this race, but I don't think it will. 1-2 laps, not going to make any difference on tyres.
Yeah, so even look at Brett Krocump has kind of fallen back there in 7th position from the pack, and he was right in there with everybody. And he was, of course, one of the last to pit, as I see Ruben Kruger gets a drive-through penalty. I assume that's for track cuts. But Kieran Patterson...
That's his second, isn't it? Kruger's second drive-through. He's had one already.
It might be. Yeah, I think it might be. Kieran Patterson, though, in 8th position, he was distinctly 10th. Those guys were battling from 3rd all the way down to 9th. Hammer and tongs the whole way. Kieran Patterson was well down in 10th position from that battle, but he's worked his way up to 8th just by pitting early. So it's even worked for him.
We got Zyressa in chat saying that it's better to have track position, but we've just proven that in this instance, Bartel and Deploy, it certainly wasn't. The undercut was a massive effect. Maybe they were being held up in time. They must have been, but looking at lap times, Claessen's got through and wasn't setting the world on fire with his lap times. Bartel pitted, only had a lap and a half of an undercut. We're not talking a lot. And jumped three spots up into second spot. So if you're watching Division 2, Division 3, maybe don't just think divide the time in half and I'll pit on 45 minutes. Maybe just put that fuel in and give yourself some options. Or pit a little bit earlier if you're in a bit of train. There's a lesson for the Division 2 and 3 drivers, I think.
So the one thing I would say to that is it depends on your race. If you're a Bashir Jadwat and have a 15-second gap, I don't believe it is the right move. But if you're in a train of cars like we've seen this evening, then I absolutely believe it is the correct move to make. So I hear what S is saying, and if you're a sim racing masterclass driver and are typically 20 seconds ahead of the pack, yes, I would agree that track position is key. But in a train like that, you can gain so much time. While it might be amazing for all of us to sit here and watch these guys battle it out and duke it out on track, it's undoubtedly for endurance racing, and actually any racing, but for endurance racing, it's so much slower to be doing that. So the undercut can be super, super powerful. And
we saw that as good as the Bentley was, in the critical part of the track where it needed to be fast, it wasn't, was it? It was struggling to get up anywhere close to side by side into that turn 1 braking zone. So you've got to get a bit more creative. You just needed some clear track. And Ross Bartel now being released.
They're now having a bit of a battle.
I mean, Bartel really has done well since he probably was being held back, because he's 3.7 seconds now ahead of Christian Deploy, who himself is nearly 2 seconds clear of Claessens.
And I would like to point out that my outside pick is currently best of the rest.
It's like a broken record, isn't it? He makes a pick, he reminds me of it every time.
Absolutely. It's a good thing I don't have a webcam, so you can't see my smug face.
Yeah, we got to sort that out because you only get to see my ugly mug. Right, where are we? We're 37 minutes to go. We've got Bashir Jadwat. I mean, we need to just pop on board just to remind that he's in this race, but he is clearly ahead in first position. Ross Bartel, fantastic pit strategy, gets him up into second spot. Christian Deploy just followed him in as well, and is now grabbing a podium in his sights. Claessens thinks, what on earth happened? I was doing well and then had a pit stop, and then all of a sudden I've lost 2 spaces, so he's in 4th, trying to fight back for his podium. Heineke, who had such a great start to this race, was driving completely on his own in second, is also slightly surprised as to what happened, and is now 5th, and is trying to regroup in the first Porsche. And Grobler, who's been plenty of action in his first Sim Race South Africa round, is down in 6th place.
100%. I don't know if you're still on board with Bash, but I'm just watching from his point of view what it's like to be a Div1 leader in our ACC GT3 league, and it's incredible to watch his inputs and just how smooth he is on the car. There's virtually no wheel spin. He's not overdriving the car. It's just all super calculated.
Yeah, going through the Schumacher S's, it looks first class, doesn't it?
Absolutely. He is millimeters away from that gravel, which loses a huge amount of time, but he just has that confidence in the car. Looks to be short shifting in a couple of corners just based on my super amateurish laps that I put in over the weekend just to familiarize myself with the Nurburgring again. But you know that means you're not spinning up the wheels. You're not taking life out of your tires that you don't need to be. And
yeah.
Here we go.
Even with his lead, how committed he was through that chicane complex. I mean, he was just nailing it, wasn't he? I mean, he can only drive one way, and we see this with all of our aliens at the front. They don't settle down and just manage the gap. They push for 90 minutes.
100%. Now I'm just going to watch to see if Bash actually... He doesn't use 6th gear. The Bentley doesn't go into 6th gear around this track. It's quite incredible.
Not needed. He'll be using it at Spa, the last round of this season, for sure.
Yeah, 100%, but it'll be fresh as a daisy by the time he gets there, I tell you what.
Zandvoort, not so much. Oh, you got like one long straight. I'm not
one long straight.
Yeah.
I think we'll just get into 6th there.
Is round 2 is Zandvoort?
It is. So of course, here at SimRace SA, we do like to mix things up. So expect various conditions modelled on, in fact, real world.
Because we've got Alton Park in there as well, which is a tiny little track for GT3. But I've done one race there already, and it was very enjoyable, mainly because it was pissing it down with rain. So just a little recommendation for the admins. I watched a wet race, and it was incredibly exciting at Alton Park. So maybe we could have a little bit more of that, please.
Dan the weather god once again, but actually just based on the long range forecast, it looked like Zandvoort might have a fairly high chance of rain at this stage, but we'll see what it looks like closer to the time.
Alton Park's not for about 2.5 months, but based on long range forecasts of the UK, there's a good chance that one's wet. Let me just put it that way.
Okay, duly noted. But of course, a place like Laguna Seca, where we're going to...
No, that's never going to rain. It hasn't rained for 40 years, so we're going to get a hot one there, I think.
Yeah, 100%. But we then try and mix it up in terms of time with races like that. So you'll see Paul Ricard. We're going to be a night race for Paul Ricard. That's going to look fantastic. Lights all over the track.
I think Paul Ricard needs something like that, because I don't like that place. I'm sorry, but it's Heathrow runway with lines painted on it. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
All right.
But in the dark with the lights, it might look epic. So well done for that.
Oh, hang on. Christian Deploy has just run very wide going into the last corner, and that has allowed Quaid Claessens to get all over the back of him. We could be seeing Quaid lining up another move. Of course, he's made a move into the last corner on the Audi for earlier on in the race, but let's see if he can make something happen here. Bentley on Bentley action. Yeah,
it might be easier against a Bentley than it was against the Audi. At least they're in the same machinery, but he struggled so much on that pit straight with against the Audi. He was waiting for what felt like an eternity before he had an opportunity to finally make the pass. But at least he'll know that he won't be out-dragged with the same machinery in front of him and Christian Deploy.
100%. So I think we're going to see for the rest of the season. Let me give you a sneak preview of what we are thinking. Give me 1 second to talk amongst yourselves. Here we go. So we're thinking Laguna Seca is going to be a sort of a sunset race, and that kind of the sunset goes down overlooking the corkscrew. So that's going to be really great. Paul Ricard, as I said, obviously going to be...
Just a bit of sun in the eyes to just dazzle you as you get to the braking zone of the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. Just because it's not a hard enough corner as it is.
Exactly. Look, these guys are too good. Look at that.
We could have guys with laser pens on the side just pointing it in at just to put them off a little bit. They're that good.
Exactly. Zandvoort, that should be an early-ish morning race. And Spa, we've yet to decide what we'll do there. But it depends. Spa, of course, good chance of rain there as well, being Belgium. So there's lots to look forward to in the GT series, and of course in all our series here at SimRace SA. We've got next week we are at Goodwood for the Legends. That will be in the minis. So everyone in a classic Mini Cooper S and we will be. So you've all of course seen, or I hope you've all seen, the videos of Woodward racing, the minis racing each other, and it'll be fantastic for us as well. That's our new series coming up, and then we'll be back with the touring cars. Of course, heavily dominated at the moment by the Volvos, but those BMWs and Nissans, hot on their heels, will be there for round 2. Before you know it, that's at Donington, and then back with the GP series, of course, the F3 cars. So lots to look forward to here at our 2021.2 season of Sim Race SA. You will find a flavour of racing to suit your every desire. I can absolutely guarantee you that.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, we're not even all the way through round 1 yet. So you can, yeah, I'm on him. We've been on him for a while. But you can, no, not too late to sign up. So get yourself signed up. There is a joining fee, but the fee goes instantly to charity. In fact, you pay the charity direct. Got nothing to do with us.
Correct.
So little shout out for that. We've got a new charity this season.
Abba. The Abba charity, fantastic place. We've already raised over 20,000 Rand, if I am correct.
Oh, way over, I think. I think it's way over.
24,233 Rand as of current counting. I can guarantee you there's some drivers out there who have yet to pay their donations, so that is only going to increase, which is wonderful.
Yeah, brilliant cause. So yeah, you have to pay, but it's literally non-profit. You can't get more non-profit. It doesn't go anywhere, but instantly into the account of Abba. So and it's good cause. So get yourself signed up and pick a series and enjoy yourself. That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's certainly what I've done. I'm loving the old school stuff. So I'm heavily in favour of the touring cars and the Legends series right now. But that is my personal preference. Ooh, Grobler, very wide over the chicane.
I think Grobler is going to sleep well tonight because he's worked his arse off in that Audi. I mean, that Audi is squirming all over the place, and he's struggling to keep it in a straight line. But he's had a lot of fun. I think he's had a lot of fun, but he's going to be tired.
If he's not sweating right now, he must be racing outside in the cold because...
Got a back marker getting out of the way for them nicely. Well done there as they both go through Grobler and Crew Camp, fighting it out for 6th position.
Yeah, fantastic battle. This really enjoying this, and I tell you what, Brett.
Oh, drive through from Grobler. What did he? I just cut away to Clarson's to look at the gap, and I didn't see it. Was it a track cut through the arena?
It was. From what I saw, it was a track cut through the arena. We saw him going wide over the chicane, remember, in the previous lap, right at the very, very end. Yeah. And I think it's just one too many. So the
warnings have mounted up, and this is going to destroy his races, Grobler, with the drive-through. 90 minutes. You've got to be careful on track cuts. 1, 2, whatever. You make a mistake, fair enough. But if you start knocking them in regularly, you'll get a drive-through.
I think he's going to fall down to about 14th position with the drive-through.
That's a shame, because all that effort holding onto that Audi is, yeah, that's going to be 100%. Tough. That's going to be a tough penalty to face.
He's either going to come out into 14th, or he's going to come out in the gaggle of 10th.
Oh, look how close Clarson's is to deploy now. It shows half a second on the leaderboard, but it's definitely less than that. Way less than that. It's half a tenth at best. So a mistake from deploy somewhere, or Clarkson, and he cut that chicane. Massive cut.
Oh, wow.
This is where Clarson's really needs a good exit here to go down the straight. This is where he struggled against Grobler, and he hasn't got it. He's struggled in that corner. It's been epic up to the chicane, but you just can't pass there.
Disagreeing with you slightly for this one particular lap. I think he closed up so much behind deploy in that one corner because, you know, deploy ran wide. I think he had to lift. He had to lift and get out of it. Yeah. Otherwise, he's just going to run into the back of deploy.
So Grobler's serving his drive-through. He's in the pits as we speak. He'll be muttering under his helmet.
Yeah, I will keep an eye on him as...
I could use my bleep button for you here. I've been wanting to use that. He's going, oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah, absolutely.
As he's going through the pit lane.
He's going to come out, and it's going to be very close with 10th. That's Wesley Ferrant, you see right behind him, and he's going to just get through. But I must say, from having taken a drive-through or two in my ACC years, it destroys your tires going through the pit lane because They
Oh, really?
lose pressure, they lose. Well, it doesn't destroy them, but
But it's just, yeah, they got too much time, just heat,
Yeah.
pressure, everything drops, and you got a half a lap to get him back again.
At least he's one wide again. Immediately, you see that the tires are just as you come out the pits, they are an absolute disaster. ACC, you need the temperature and the pressures. It's not a one or the other. You got to have both, and he's going to struggle for, I would say, a lap before they're all back in that window.
He's got that Darth Vader, Stormtrooper looking Lexus behind him, Wesley Ferrand. He's obviously had a great race because he's in the top 10. And he wasn't anywhere close to that when we cut to him earlier in the race. And now he's fancying a piece of Audi to get right into the top 10 in Grobler. But surely Grobler's got the pace.
You'd imagine, but top running Lexus, Wesley Ferrand, against top running Audi.
Just looking at Heineke's, all of a sudden putting a blistering lap time in from nowhere. He's not quite sure what happened to Heineke. He just had a spell where I dare say maybe got a little bit comfortable in second spot on his own and just thought he could just carry on. And then the pit stops happened and he's really lost out because of it.
Of course, the battle with Claessens and Deploy is happening up front, but just a shout out to Mr. Fenter in P8 in the Bentley. We've barely focused on him the whole race, but he's got himself all the way up into 8th. Now, I know he was thereabouts, but that's a fantastic result for him right now. You know, it's amazing how well you can do by just keeping your nose clean, running your race, not taking too many silly risks. Don't get yourself drive-throughs, all of those kind of things, and suddenly you're on for a fantastic top 10 result.
Yeah, well done. He's going to be pretty happy with that, I think. Kieran Patton as well, always keeping himself clean on his own. Claessens, let me just check back in with him.
There's a bit of a gap now, but goodness, through that bottom hairpin.
I think Claessens has missed a little bit of a trick without having his livery done because he's lost a lot of sponsorship time in this race. He's been on stream for bloody half of it, and it's just been a black Bentley, so his sponsors will not be happy.
Yeah, 100%. But you know, he's provided us with a huge amount of entertainment, and it's certainly given interesting, strategy calls. That whole train in the beginning.
Yeah, he's done a lot of battling, and he probably could have avoided half of it if he just pitted earlier. And probably would have been up in second spot now, as we see a back marker jumping out the way before the final corner. Ross Bartle has got himself into that second spot, and he's made it his own. So very well done to him. He's got 3.5 seconds back to Christian Deploy. And it looks quite comfortable, I dare say, with bated breath, with 23 minutes to go for Ross Bartle. But it was all done with a pit stop. Didn't actually see him make a pass the whole race, did we?
No.
I don't think so. Entirely strategy, yeah. Which is unusual for us, because we don't see too much of that. Not to the extent of gaining 3 spots.
Yeah, this is why 90-minute races are a good thing for us. 100%. So while you just quickly find me the lap times of Bartle and Jadwat, a quick shout out to Wesley Ferrand, not Wesley Ferrand, sorry, Van Veek
you said Wesley Ferrand, but Wesley Ferrand's in 9th and Grobler's down in 11th, so something's happened there. Sorry to interrupt you there, but that was the other way around, wasn't it? We had Grobler in front of Ferrand in 10th. So Grobler's had another bit of a nightmare. Oh, I just cut to him and he's sideways through turn 1. So
he's come off the track. Yeah, as I say, that drive through, it really hits you. You can't quite believe it. And in fact, actually, just behind him, Kutsia for PWSR, a driver name that I actually don't quite recognize, but a
livery that we do.
Right, a livery that we very much do. You cannot deny. I don't know if you saw what Brett Crocombe posted, of course, the owner of Grumpy Monkey, who makes socks, but they've come out with some smiley face sort of emoji type socks, which look almost identical to the PWSR livery. It's quite fantastic, actually.
Right.
So I imagine Alan's going to be finding himself in a pair of
there's a lot
socks.
less PWSR drivers this season, so I don't have to contend with 15 cars on the grid that all look exactly the same. So I've got a better chance now, but I would like a few of these cars coloured in next round, please. Looking at you, Quade Claessens. And a few other non-skinned ones. There's some brilliant liveries on track, as we always expect, but a few just lagging behind, so please get them in. It helps us out as commentators for sure to as the season goes on. We get 100%. More familiar with cars and your liveries.
Just having a look at the various liveries, I quite like the Mark van Rensburg's livery. It's something different. Haven't seen that.
Yes.
Seen that before.
And just a shout out to Mark van Rensburg again. After his drive-through, he's up into 14th. It's such a shame that he got that drive-through in the parade lap, because I mean, he would have been in top 10, I think, easily.
Yeah, definitely working his way up, doing very, very well. We've got, as I say, that LLC livery is pretty cool with its almost sort of metallic shimmer to it.
Who's that? Sorry.
So that would be Ruben Kruger, is definitely an LLC driver. I think he's the top running LLC driver currently, but while it's looking fairly dirty at the moment, it's certainly still pretty
the shimmer is pretty cool though. I see what you mean in the light. It does look good.
Yeah, I want to see what that's going to look like at Paul Ricard in the dark under the lights. That could be quite spectacular.
I could actually put a few people off as you look like a disco ball.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That could be a strategy call there, just in the livery alone.
100%. So maybe watch out, Ryan. You might be getting a bunch of new liveries submitted for Paul Ricard.
Yeah, or a lot of Stewart's investigations. I was dazzled by the disco ball behind me.
Yeah. What was that song, Blinded by the Light? Revved up, something. Yeah, there you go.
So every now and then, every sort of 20 minutes, we just go in just to see whether Bashir Jadwat's still alive in his Bentley. And he is indeed, and he's 28 seconds ahead of Ross Bartleman's second spot. And he's still lapping phenomenally well. 154.2 was his last lap through, which is still half a second quicker than Ross Bartleman's second place. So that lead is only ever going to stretch at that sort of pace.
Yeah, we really did miss Bash last season. Sim Racing Masterclass, they had it kind of all their own way. Bash, the obvious omission from the series, and he's back with a vengeance. So this really is a bit of a marker to lay down to the rest of
totally. Yeah, I don't think Sim Race Masterclass is going to have it all their way. They've used their drop round. They can't miss another race, and Bashir Jadwat's he's got maximum points here, and he's going to give them a run for their money. I think it's going to be a very competitive season at the top sharp end of this grid.
Yeah, we're used to seeing the Ghostworks team. Of course, that's Bash's team, and he at the top of the charts, and he is once again right up there. The Bentley really showing its class today, and really looking forward to see how the rest of the season plays out. Of course, we're on the local servers now, part of the simracing.gp.
Yeah, can't get any better than this. You've got Amazon servers in Cape Town. Look at the pings. I mean, there's no bars next to... Look, Wesley Ferrant has not actually got even a smidgen of green next to his name. He must obviously be racing on the server. He's got his rig just plugged straight into the back of the USB port of the Amazon server, I think.
I wonder if that tells us that he works for Amazon.
JC Grobler as well. I think they're all teaming up. But look, I mean, it is perfect conditions. And your money goes to charity. Come on, guys, get yourself signed up if you're not already. Yeah, now's the time to do it at the start of the season rather than at the end.
Just making it through a 90-minute race is actually... I know we see hugely long races, 6 hours, 3 hours, so forth, but you're not... It's a bit like a 400-meter sprint.
Yeah, but to be fair, I do a lot of endurance racing, which, might be 12, 24 hours, but you're talking stints of 90 minutes for a driver before you hand over. And let me tell you, at the end of 90 minutes, you're feeling it. I'm in my rig, you're feeling it. My legs hurting, my arms are hurting. It's a workout. It really is. And also to keep your concentration for that long as well, especially if you're in a night race. I mean, that really is just that extra little bit of needed concentration just to get to the end. It's well done just to complete a 90-minute race. Especially these lower division guys, they're going to feel it. They're going to really, really feel it. But it mixes it up on the other series that we've got, haven't we? So we've got sprint races if you want it in the TCR. You got like a medium length race in GP, and then now effectively GT3 quite rightly is more of an endurance series.
Well, I mean, you got to remember that the TC series is very much like the touring cars of the 90s. As I'm watching Quade Claessen's, I mean, there is an A4 piece of paper between those two right now.
We've been riding on board with them for a while. It's Claessen's. I mean, he just spent the entire race looking up the back of someone.
Here we go.
This is where he's quick, and it doesn't mean anything for him.
Yeah,
he's been quick all day.
If you watched carefully, Deploy actually put his wheels into the gravel. Coming onto the back straight very slightly, just the tiniest of smidge, and that allowed Quade Claessen's to almost have a sniff, but it wasn't quite to be. But yeah, as I was saying, the TC races,
flash in the pan, sort of manic. They are real, sort of got to keep your wits about you for a full-on sprint, isn't it?
Well, that's the first race, but of course the second race of the evening is now a 40-minute race.
Oh, right, okay. I missed that in round one. So it's changed slightly.
We're harking back to the 90s where you have a
sprint
race
and a feature.
And then a feature, yeah, 100%. So it brings some interesting strategies, no pit stops required, but, 40 minutes is right on that cusp where, even the hard tires are absolutely squealing and in pain by the time you get to the end of the race. That was at Brands Hatch. Who knows what Donington will be like, which I think is slightly worse on tires than Brands Hatch. But anyway, point is there's quite a variety up and down the series at SimRace SA.
Oh yeah, totally, and that's why it's quite nice to do a couple if you can. But you can just pick one and specialize in it, or you can try them all, drop out of one if you're not feeling it, and you'll find your feet pretty quickly, won't you? You find your little niche, if you like.
Oh, 100%. Down in 19th position, I see Hugo.
Oh, look how close. I'm just riding on board. Sorry, Nick. I'm just riding on board with Claessen's, and he's basically rubbing paint with Christian Deploy as we're on bonnet cam with Quade Claessen's. Super close. Sorry, where were you, Nick?
I was down in 18th with Maurice Krokkamp and Hugo de Wit. They are very close together as well. And a little bit of a gap now between them.
Oh, and behind, though, is that a back marker jumping out the way?
I think it is. I think you've got one of the grumpy monkeys. I think that might be Krokkamp.
No, it is Hugo. Yeah, it is Krokkamp coming through Hugo de Wit, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of separated that little battle, but I'm sure it'll resume post-haste. And through turn one, there's a little bit of contact between Claessen's and Deploy. Claessen's just giving the rear bumper of Deploy a little kiss on the way out of turn one.
I have to say, I think Claessen's deserves a podium finish, to be honest. But he's going to be running out of time with 13 minutes to go and getting a little bit more frantic to try and get a pass done. Christian Deploy's doing everything he needs to do and defending well.
Yeah, look, you say he deserves one. However, Deploy has deployed the best strategy we've seen today, and he's won himself that position, and he is defending exceptionally well.
How long were you holding on to that, Nick? For a while, deployed.
I tell you what, I have been working on that.
Yeah,
since,
I can tell. You've been holding on to that since lap 5. But it's a Bentley masterclass. Top 4 Bentleys. Heineke, if he wasn't there, would be top 5. So, and then Paul Venter in the Bentley as well. So the Bentley super strong here at Nurburgring. Unbelievable.
Yeah, in the top. Let's have just a quick top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the top 10, which is that's quite incredible. So we'll have to see what Sim Racing Masterclass can do in round 2 once those chaps are better. I hope you guys don't have the dreaded Rona, but we'll see you soon, I am sure. And
at least we've got if you're just doing ACC, which quite a lot of these guys are, you've got a best part of a month, haven't you, to recover. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone's on the grid for round 2 at Downfall.
And let's face it, I know other leagues, there's money, there's prizes, there's all sorts of things, but the prestige of the SimRace SA League.
We've got just dropped Claessen's up the inside. He's going to have it done. Finally, Claessen's is going to get a podium spot from Christian Deploy. Is he, though? He's not.
He's not giving it up.
It's going to make him go around the outside and work for it into the arena section. Christian Deploy is on the inside, though. and he's still on the inside, but if he sticks there, Claessen's now gets it as they leave the arena section. He's got it. What a pass. What a bit of driving from both drivers. No one wants to give it up.
Give us a replay of that, Dan. That was the action of the evening. I tell you what, that was incredible.
Here we have it. Yeah, it was a great pass. They were fighting their way through that arena section. Unfortunately, I only snipped the end of it, so I do apologise. But we did see that, yeah, Claessen's got himself into the podium spot. So very well done to Claessen's. I think he was patient, and he's seen the back part of a car. I mean, he hasn't seen tarmac. A 90-minute race, and he hasn't seen tarmac for about 75 minutes of it.
Yeah,
he's just been looking at the rear grille of either a Bentley or a Porsche.
Or an Audi, in fact.
Or an Audi, sorry. Yeah, of course.
So really, I mean, actually, Quade Claessens could very easily be driver of the day in terms of just keeping yourself within such a close proximity of another driver for 90 minutes, whether it's deploy or was it Heinecker at the beginning or even Probler. Like, I mean, come on, that is proper skills. So
where on the other hand, Ross Bartle, you'll have us debrief with him as a team member, and he'll probably go, "Oh, it was a bit boring, 90 minutes. So I didn't really see a lot coming in the pits, and then I'll come out in second." I mean, but he'll take it, won't he? He hasn't had to do a lot, but the strategy got it.
He's not had to do a lot, but I tell you what, I know Ross, and he will be thinking 32 seconds between me and Jadwat. I've got to find a way to close that down and put some pressure on him. Ross is a consummate professional, if nothing else. And
however, when he first joined last season, he had a bit of a nightmare in ACC. I have to say, he got tangled up all sorts and had a few DNFs, didn't finish. And he's been clean, tidy, collected. The experience is starting to show through. That hard work certainly evident. Looks so much more composed, does Ross Bartle, and I think he's been good value for his second spot. Very good value.
Absolutely, 100%. And when you find yourself kind of, it doesn't matter which league at SimRace SA, but if you're in sort of the 9th, 10th, down to kind of 15th spot in that mid-pack, it is so easy for things to go wrong on the first couple of laps, and they often do. So, you know, to try and get yourself out of that danger zone is very difficult, and Ross has now managed it, and it's really paying off for him.
So we've got 8 minutes to go. It's sort of settled down at the front. As I say that, I'm just looking at the gap. And Deploy is not letting Claessen's get away, so we will keep a very keen eye on that. But just with 8 minutes to go, let's try and give some of our rear gunners a bit of a shout out. Let's drop back through the field and see whether we can see any more battles towards the back part of the grid, and also admire some of their liveries as well.
You're going to hate who's in 28th. Because if he'd just been in the Jag...
Oh, he would have been on half the stream if he'd been in the Jag. It would Brent Lindsay Ray.
And he'd be in top 20. That Jag was just a top 20 machine.
As long as it was pissing with rain. It was... The British car was pretty good in the wet, apparently. But crap everywhere else. Let's be honest, it was rubbish. So I actually can't believe Brent Lindsay Ray stuck it out for the entire season. So he gets a huge amount of respect from me for that. But he has sort of given up a little bit and took a Merc. But yeah, in 28th spot is Brent Lindsay Ray. Who else have we got? Let's have a look at some of these liveries. A few guys have retired in the pits. Junior McCall is still sat in the pits.
Sean Stradom, interesting. I haven't noticed that one. I think it's Logistical Nightmare Racing in 25th position. Interesting, almost was that kind of a tiger stripe kind of livery going on there.
And it's just interesting. We dropped to this back part of the grid, and we're starting to see a few sort of brands not represented at the front, haven't we? Ferrari, we've got a couple of McLarens in Dwayne Hall and Peter Oosthuizen in the McLaren in the 15th and 16th spot. Nice to see some McLarens on the grid.
Yeah, not being the flavour of...
but they're quick if you can just handle it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But everyone says it's a bit of a handful. Or difficult to drive.
Audis, yet some people do go with them, so it's odd. Got to be a die-hard McLaren fan, I think.
I think we've got almost every car represented throughout the three divisions, even a few BMWs, which is a surprise to me, but a few people have picked the BMW this season. I thought that was just a complete no-go.
I know Alan Patterson's gone with the BMW. The BMW's really good at certain tracks. I think it's Suzuka for one of them, and possibly Monza. It might be really, really good. So Not that we're going to either of those tracks this season, but
We got Wesley Ferrand is right up behind Venter for a battle for 8th position. If we're in Formula 1, we'd be looking at a major point-scoring opportunity here.
100%. Once again, that old-school riveted livery is sticking us to the back of Fenter.
Slightly strange on the Lexus, but that's probably pretty epic for the Mini Legends. I did see a skin going around for that with the riveted panels. That's a great idea. On a brand new Lexus, I think they'd be a bit upset at Lexus to see that livery, to be quite honest. But yeah, very ominous and white Stormtrooper look.
Just running slightly wide there and losing a little bit of ground there to Fenter. Gives them some breathing room as we go into the last, or close into the last 5 minutes.
Just wanted to jump into Christian deploying Claessens. That gap now is there. It's a second basically to Claessens. So Claessens, now he's been released, is making sure he gets that podium spot with 5 minutes left.
Yeah, doing exceptionally well. Bashir Jadwat, of course, class of the field, number 83, flashing number 1 on the windscreen.
I mean, 34 seconds.
Oh, that is dominant, isn't it? It
really is, yeah.
Marker. Wow, that is proper.
Yeah, I think it's not surprising that Essa and Ray decided not to pitch if they're not feeling 100%, because I think he would have needed 100% to beat Bashir Jadwat tonight. He hasn't put a foot wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ferrand still probably about the closest battle on track that I can see.
I think that is the closest.
Now.
Stain is no, he's way back. Grobler is back up into 10th. But yeah, I think it's the race that could have been for JC Grobler. He's probably maybe thought he could come to Sim Race South Africa and it'll be easy, but not so much, hey? So 10th spot. He'll have to regroup and see how he fares at Zandvoort for round 2.
Yeah, definitely a very, very different track to Nurburgring. So that could throw a few spanners and a few works, and we'll possibly see something interesting happening there. Let's see, is that Prius against Janssen van Vieren for 19th and 20th position, fairly close, second between them. Ferrari on Aston Martin.
Yeah, I like the Ferrari livery from Prius. That looks good. Sort of red stripes on grey and black. Can't go too wrong there.
No, not
Plus,
really.
I like the Ferrari's just a good-looking car anyway.
Yeah, it's difficult to make that look ugly. It must be said.
Yeah, the way you do it is you put a horrible green sticker on the side. I find, like how the F1 team did. I mean, honestly, there's probably a lime green sponsor for Mish and Winnow. That gets a Ferrari looking pretty ugly pretty quickly.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah, because they get a prize for managing to make a Ferrari red look bad. But he did well yesterday. Shame that Charles couldn't get the win. But unfortunately, a British boy had to. He was blessed. We won't talk about it. I think it's a bit controversial for chat.
Yeah, let's not mention the wall.
Shame.
So I'm just looking for battles up and down the track. I see a few sort of back markers getting out the way, but not too much as we go into the closing stages.
Oh, Brett Crewcamp, his game crashed out. He's in chat. My game just crashed. Where is he? He's not on the server.
He's not anywhere.
Oh, very unfortunate, Brett. That's a shame. That's a real shame because I
know how much work he's put in. He has put in the
he was
hours.
in 6th when he crashed out because he's still on my off-screen leaderboard where I have live timing. So he was running a clear 6th place and good value for it. Very good value for it as well. So sorry about that, Brett.
Yeah, that is a serious bummer because I know how much work he put in. It paid off. He played the waiting game, allowed others to battle each other out of contention, and it was just working out so well for Brett.
Yeah, I was also wondering how Wesley Ferrand suddenly jumped to 8th without passing Venter because they all shuffled up a spot with Brett's retirement.
Yep. So we have Ferrant in the Lexus. Of course, the first running it, but Grobler now in 10th, getting promoted because of that.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a Bentley show here at Nurburgring, but after the Bentley, we've got a nice mix. So we've got Porsche, Ferrari, Lexus, Aston, Audi. So, yeah.
Even a couple of McLarens when you look down 14th, 15th position.
Yeah, so Bentley certainly strong here. That won't be the case for the entire season, I'm sure. Good mixture of tracks.
Leaders on the final lap. Bash crosses the line for the last time, having done 46 laps currently. Track temperature right now, 21 degrees Celsius ambient, 28 degree actual track temperature. So pretty good conditions right now. Obviously by now the track is completely optimal. But Bashir almost on a parade lap. Ooh, getting a back marker in front of him.
That's Sass, isn't it? Sass van der Westhuizen.
Yeah.
Don't do anything, Sass. Get out of the way. As a steward, please remove yourself from the situation. He has done, and Bash is going to have a painless last lap. Even with a spin, Bash has got it though, hasn't he? Let's be honest. 36 seconds.
He's super chilled right now. Not going to be worried too much.
You say he's chilled, but his last lap through the gate was still a 154.8. Quicker than any car on the circuit, literally any car, by a good margin, by sort of 7/10 quicker than Ross Bartle in second, 6/10 quicker than Quay Clarson's in third. Even with a 38-second lead, Bash is still pushing it.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Coming up against, I think that's a yellow design car. Is that his teammate? I think that's Jonathan Benz. He's lapping Jonathan Benz right at the very end of the lap.
Maybe Jonathan didn't want an extra lap. He's like, no, let him finish.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. Let the leader through. Yeah. I don't want to do a whole nother lap. I've had enough. Exactly. Where is Jonathan Benz finished, actually?
I think is that
25th. So Bash comes through, and he will take round one here at Nurburgring in the 2021.2 season of the SimGT. Perfect start for our returnee in Bashir Jadra. Congratulations to him. And that's 100 points in the bag.
A man with so much experience. It really showed tonight. He pulled away, got pole position, made it count, and let people behind him really battle it out. I mean, I know he had incredible pace, but really he was unchallenged with everyone jockeying for position. As we see Ross Bartle coming across the line.
Yeah, 30 seconds behind, but I mean, strategy got him second place, didn't he, Ross Bartle? Yeah. Superb call to pit earlier in that train of Bentleys behind the Porsche. Quay Clarson's good value for his podium. Really happy that he did get a podium, Quay Clarson. Christian Deploy so close to that podium position, but comes through in fourth. Heineke will wonder what the hell happened. He was so comfortable in second spot and ends up finishing fifth.
Yeah, 100%. I'll see if we can find Bash, but I'm not sure he's going to come join us for an interview. Typically a fairly modest chap, but if he is out there, Bash, come and have a chat with us. There he is. Let's bring him in.
Kieran Patterson in sixth spot, and didn't see much of Kieran Patterson, but well done. He's always close. Here we go, Venter and Ferrant. They're fighting right to the line here, and I think Venter's still, as long as something drastic doesn't happen, he's going to get seventh spot ahead of Wesley Ferrant in the ominous white Lexus. God, they're pretty close as they cross the line. Ferrant's going to have one last chance, but it's not going to be enough. Venter in seventh, Ferrant in eighth. Hannes van Veek in ninth. And Grobler will complete the top 10, so he still finishes in the top 10. Well done him on his first round here in SimRace South Africa.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Bashir, well done, my friend. What a wonderful return to form in the Bentley as well. We're not used to seeing you in the Bentley.
Thanks, guys. I chose a Bentley because we're using it for the World Cup, myself, Zahir, and Raymond. So, decided to take a car that I'm familiar with and hopefully be able to help with setups there as well.
That's it's been fantastic to watch you just absolutely dominate the field.
We thought you might get a bit bored at the front, Bash, but we saw your last lap was still 7/10 quicker than anyone else on circuit with a 38-second lead. So you didn't give up. You kept pushing.
I was just watching the times behind on my first stint, and then the second stint I had to keep up because once I dropped pace, I started doing a few mistakes. So yeah, I had to push, otherwise I would have been off the track.
Sometimes it's just easier just to go flat out than it is to just try and manage pace, obviously.
100%, yeah, it's easier to go flat out, actually.
So you
It's
took
also easier
100
to
points
chase.
over your what will probably be your main rivals in Essa and Raymond Mooney. But they're not here, and you got maximum points, so you got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm happy, but I missed the fight. I mean, I was hoping for a good fight with them, but
I think you'll have plenty of those for the rest of the season. Don't you worry about that. But in the meantime, take your 100 points and run, my friend.
definitely going to do so.
So we saw a lot of the guys. Ross Bartle in particular, obviously made the undercut work exceptionally well for him. Now with the gap that you built up, did an undercut ever enter your mind? As I know you're not undercutting anyone, but an early pit stop. We know that the temperatures were fluctuating early in the race.
It did cross my mind. It did cross my mind because I got my pressures a bit wrong on my first stint. That was a bit too high, so I did think of coming in early, but then I said I'd rather just stick it out and go as long as I can because I had a decent enough gap.
Yeah, because Bartle gained like 3 spots with the undercut. It was massive. It was. I mean, he didn't overtake anyone the whole night, and he was second.
He could also have done a single stint on the tires, so he may have not changed tires because that was also a consideration that I had.
Good call. Yeah, we might have missed that one, possibly.
And is that a Bentley? Is that a Bentley thing? That one of the advantages? You don't need to change tires, or just any of the cars for 90 minutes?
Well, I don't know if it's. I think any car you can make 90 minutes, but the trade-off with pace, I wasn't sure whether it would be worth it, so I didn't test that. So that's why I decided to actually stop and change tires. I didn't have any long runs yet, so I wasn't sure how the tire wear would be. But I'm actually happy that I changed because by the end of the stint, I could feel the fronts were a bit grainy. If I check my setup, I think I did have some damage there.
Some damage?
No, some on the tire wear.
Oh, right.
But you obviously took a fresh set.
Graining.
You took a fresh set in the pits, obviously.
Yeah, I took a fresh set. But
so
if I had moderate on the half stint, then yeah, I wouldn't have managed the full stint, I don't think.
Yeah, so it was very, very close.
I think he probably the gaps weren't. I mean, Ross didn't come out significantly ahead, did he? He jumped those 3 spots. I think it was pure pace in the pit stop. I think everyone took tyres, but we'll find out later in Discord. I'm sure someone will tell us if they didn't. But I would imagine the gap would be more.
Ross is right. Yeah, Ross, how did the undercut worked like an absolute treat for you?
How's it, guys? Yeah. I was saying to Quaid now, I kind of just had to do something different at that point, realizing that the Audi there was holding us up mainly.
We're begging for one of you to do it. Where we were saying, look, there's 4 Bentleys. The one to gain the most was you or Brett. Come in, you have nothing to lose.
I actually wanted to do it the lap before, and Brett actually could talk me out of it, and then the next lap point my stuff, so I'm going for it. So so it kind of worked out quite well in the end.
Talked you out of it, maybe to do it himself. He was thinking, maybe I'll do it.
So yeah, I wasn't expecting to get Quaid and I think it was Heineke. But yeah, the main thing was trying to get rid of that Audi. So yeah, it worked out better than that in the end.
I mean, Quaid, from your side, you had the battles all up and down for 90 minutes. I mean, you must have been looking at the rear wing of, we saw was to start with a Porsche, then an Audi, then a Bentley. It was ridiculous. You must have the number plates of everybody on the grid, basically.
Yeah, it was just a full-on battle that whole race. I honestly haven't had that much fun in so long. I enjoyed every last bit of it. It was just the start. I didn't expect an Audi next to me. I kind of bumped off him, so that was what made me fall behind those 2.
I've seen you 2 get up close and personal before, though, Quaid. You and JC Grobler.
Oh yeah, just once or twice.
just once or twice. So it must have felt nice to get the pass finally on him.
Yeah, but by then it was already too late. Ross did the dream, undercut, really worked out. I should have done exactly the same and we both would have been way ahead, but yeah. tons of fun. Enjoyed every last second of it.
Yeah, fantastic, chaps. Thanks so much for giving us a wonderful, entertaining evening. Bash, once again, what a fantastic win. Really dominated, and we hope for your sake there'll be a bigger challenge going into Zandvoort, the next race. What do you think the Bentley's going to be like there?
Thanks. Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't driven it there, but it should be good with the curbs and the bumps. Hoping. I chose a car because of the World Cup that we're doing. So yeah, it's whether it works or not, we'll have to see when we get there.
But certainly Nurburgring, the Bentley was phenomenal. I mean, yeah, you're all in the Bentley and you're representing our podium. So you think you've probably made the most of it on this circuit. Surely it can't be this good everywhere, or we're going to have a bit of a Bentley masterclass.
Hopefully. I'm sure the Porsche would have been right up there as well if they had pitched. Chris was doing quite well as well. I'm not sure what happened to him. I know.
I don't think he realised what happened to him. Actually, he come out of the pits and probably thought, "What on earth? I'm in fifth." And then, unfortunately, that's where he finished.
Yeah. No, but I'm happy with this. I put in a lot of work on this track because of the other work that we're doing. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the result.
Well, fantastic. Thanks so very much, chaps. Really appreciate the whole podium joining us tonight for a post-race interview. It has been wonderful to bring you the action here tonight, and I hope everybody has enjoyed the stream. There is more coming from SimRace SA, of course. Next week, we are at Goodwood with the Legends, as we spoke about during the stream. Pay attention to that. Everybody in classic Minis, Mini Cooper S's, of course. Watch out for that. It's going to be absolutely on fire. And then following that, we will be back for round 2 at SimRace SA, where there'll be more touring cars and Grand Prix cars and GT cars, of course. So stay tuned. Lots of action to be happening here every Monday night and occasionally Wednesday night for a stream as well for Div 2 action.
Yeah, well done, guys. Thanks for the podium for joining us. Yeah, that's a wrap for round 1. But before you know it, we'll be back here in ACC for round 2 at Zandvoort. And these 3 will be hoping they're also on the podium once again. Until that happens, keep safe, keep driving, and we'll see you soon. Go well.
Cheers.